Good morning. My name is Richard Atwell, and I'm here today to speak to Agenda Item 5, which covers the terms of reference for this committee. And I'd like to draw your attention to the slides I've prepared. The law firm of Staples, McDonald & Stewart has produced a guide called The Roles and Responsibilities of Regional Directors. And I'm sure you've all read a copy at one point, as it's only 14 pages long. It makes reference to the Local Government Act and the Community Charter, and let's examine the section on regional board membership. The authors have written, membership in the board arises through the political process, and therefore the primary role of directors is to meet political responsibilities as representatives of those areas for which they have been elected or appointed. This is self-evident, but highlights the primary purpose of your role at this committee table. On the subject of responsibilities, they wrote, once in office, one of the basic duties of the director is to determine the wishes of the people that he or she represents before voting on matters on the board's agenda. At the same time, he or she must be prepared to examine an issue to determine its regional impact before voting on it. I'm not sure how each of you determine the wishes of those you represent. And the last quote, many times a director will be faced with a decision that does not necessarily fully satisfy the needs of the area he or she represents, but is for the betterment of the region as a whole. I think many of you at this table have struggled with this in regard to this project you steward. So having gone through these relevant items in Staples, McDonald & Stewart, let's look at the regional makeup as it relates to this committee. On this slide, you can see the variable per capita ratio of council positions. Saanich, with almost 12 times the population of View Royal, gets just twice as many councillors. Most municipalities have 6 reps. When we compare the number of councillors who sit at municipal halls to the number of directors sent to the CRD, the ratio changes. Is it disproportionate or not? It's hard to say at this point in the analysis, but it's not evenly weighted according to the population, but rather quantized. A region with 49,000 residents gets the same number as one with 26,000. Now let's compare those ratios by looking at the number of representatives that make up the CRD committees. As we walk down this list of arts, environmental services, financial and corporate services, planning, transportation and protective services, regional parks, the Transportation Select Committee, we see a balance until we get to the Regional Water Supply Commission. And on this committee, there is a true representation of water users, with Saanich, Victoria, and even Langford making up a minority of the votes cast, with the rest with 13. Now look at the Core Area Liquid Waste Management Committee. By basing it on the Water Commission model and excluding the members from outside the core area, it is the only committee with votes so heavily weighted in favor of Saanich and Victoria that, in my opinion, and the public opinion among those who have watched this committee for some time, believe this is a flawed makeup. So, Saanich and Victoria get 9 out of 15 votes, giving a majority to 2 municipalities that is not reflected at council or elsewhere within the CRD. No other committee is structured this way. It is an anomaly at the CRD, and in regard to the plan forward, has not achieved the best possible outcome for the region, and certainly not the best possible outcome for Esquimalt. The current makeup of this committee could possibly provide a balance on non-contentious issues such as underground piping, as was the case when this committee was called the Sewer Trunk Committee, but it falls apart when you have above-ground infrastructure. So the solution is to restructure the committee, and this is what I recommend. It should consist of 7 mayors from the core area, 7 additional councillors from the core area with no vote. They are only there to help foster the discussion. Alternates also get no votes. Quorum should be 7 mayors, and mayors cannot send alternates. That means you, Frank Leonard, you, Stu Young, and you, Niels Jensen. Why these mayors are not sitting at this table when the cost of this project is $1 billion plus is simply inexcusable. In summary, it makes no sense to have multiple directors from the same municipality bring the same primary political responsibilities to this table and to consider the overall regional outcome from the same regional perspective. In my opinion, this has resulted in citing a sewage pumping station, a sewage treatment plant, and now the possibility of a biosolids center, all within the Township of Esquimalt, which is only 4 by 7 square kilometers. That's my advice for this committee to consider, and I would like to send this to CRD Chair Alistair Bryson for his comments as well. Thank you.